Hi everyone, here's another good playthrough of my Midnight Noise deck, so let's get down to it. I'll be playing against a Cerebral Imaging HP deck, so this should be a pretty interesting matchup. My deck actually counters Cerebral Imaging to quite a large degree because nerf agents are especially devastating against Cerebral Imaging. I think I've explained this in a previous video. So in this game, you'll be seeing me trying to get my nerf agents up. So as usual, I start off with, as a typical noise would, making early R&D excesses and trashing cards that I don't like. So I trash his restructure. I'm very happy about that. He won't get a lot of credits. And then I see a blue level clearance. Great. He's going to draw that next and get even more credits and more cards, which is always a good thing for Cerebral Imaging. Alright. R&D is sealed off. So I draw up to look for my professional contacts and I find the hostage that I need. So that's done. Now since the centrals are iced up, I'm going to transit into my deck drawing phase. I'm done with the early access phase. I could try to access his R&D or HQ, force him to rest his ice and then use a parasite on it, but I'm quite scared of HP because the ice tends to be very high strength, so parasite won't take care of them too easily. And I don't have a search in hand to help either, so I'm dismissing that for now. He installs a remote, which I assume is a Jackson. I run it, and I threaten to trash it with him, so he's forced to reshuffle everything back into R&D, which is very important. I cannot let Cerebral Imaging get 2 card draw per click. That is far too much efficiency. Pass the turn over. He ices up archives, so now there really is no chance of me accessing cards early on now. Now I need to draw up my entire Blackmail combo. So here goes. I need to find New Angeles City Hall to remove the tag and Blackmail. So on my turn, I pawn my imp, which still has 1 counter. I don't care because that counter means nothing to me anymore, since I cannot access early on. Instead, I rather have the burst credits so that I can use hostage on 12 contacts first thing. I quickly draw into my New Angeles City Hall, which is great. So now all I'm missing is the Blackmail. Hopefully I can draw it soon enough. This is definitely a limitation of the deck. Alright, he plays a subliminal messaging, which is not very good for me because I'm not intending to run at all. And I draw into a Tempora. Oh, that's the card. That's exactly the card I wanted to see. So, install New Angeles, install Tempora. Done. This is great. Because he then plays a subliminal messaging, which mission accomplished for me. I'm able to dish out the bad part and remove the tag that I just got. So the bad part portion is done. I don't need to rely on my activist support hijinks. Tempora does the job for me, and it's a very important reason. It's a reason for including Tempora. It's a defense against subliminal messaging. It's a subliminal defense against subliminal messaging. Yes, Tempora seems so weak on the surface, but when you use her in this specific context, she actually protects you against one of the heaviest counters to a passive runner deck, subliminal messaging. So I find myself a single thing and get it on the board. I'm still digging for my Blackmail. I definitely need to find that as soon as possible before he starts scoring everything out of hand or performing his 7 agenda point combo in a single turn. That would be really nasty. He's looking well on track to do that with 30 credits to his name. Whenever I see a corp ice up even more, I can't help but think to myself, do they know what's coming? Do they know what's about to hit them? I don't think they do. Anyway, I continue drawing up. I spend 4 clicks drawing 4 cards, but to no avail. It's not looking very good for me. Still finding that single copy of Blackmail that I so desperately need. He continues drawing. Looks like he's searching for combo pieces himself. Probably biotic labels. Or maybe he's waiting for me to run so that he can power shut down his entire deck and perform his 7 point in 1 turn combo. I continue drawing up, and yeah, all I managed to accomplish was to install Raymond Flint. In retrospect, I think I shouldn't have installed Raymond Flint. I should have just kept drawing, and I didn't want to draw because I was afraid of drawing into an important card like a Search or a Medium. I didn't want to discard any of the cards in my hand right now. I need the Imp to destroy his combo pieces. I need 3 Nerf Agents to wreck his hand, to do some serious HQ wreckage. And I need the Search, of course. So with a hand size of 5 only, I had to play a Raymond Flint. I rather play a Raymond Flint than to draw a card which I really don't want to discard. And the next turn comes and goes, and I still haven't found my Blackmail. It's getting on my nerves. It's definitely not looking good for me at all. This is the biggest problem with playing my deck. There are so many combo pieces, and if you don't find them, you are going to lose. You're going to lose 0-7, especially against fast decks. Alright, he's had enough of waiting. He plays 2 Biotic Labels, which means Efficiency Committee is coming out. And I know that he has Shipment from Sen in his deck, so it's only a matter of time before I lose. A couple of turns of time. Alright, I finally draw into my Blackmail. Finally. Now, I'm thinking of how best to enact my plan. It goes as such. Install Nerf Agent, Blackmail, HQ. This allows me to see 2 additional cards for a total of 3. Hopefully I can find something good in there. I see myself a priority rack and 2 random cards. Alright, that looks good. Now, what is he going to do? Purge virus counters. That's the smart thing to do, yes. But I have a backup plan. I was ready for this. Install Nerf Agent, search into HQ. Now I have 3 additional accesses for a total of 4. I see for myself a Shipment, a Hedge Fund, a Vitruvius which has score, and an Archive Memories. Now suddenly I'm on match point. He's looking very, very horrible. he's in very bad shape right now. What does he do next? What does he do? Is he going to clear virus counters again? Yes, he is. Alright. That's great. Now, I've just run out of steam because I can no longer run. So now I'm looking to either make a double run on HQ or more likely to target R&D instead. I know there are a couple more surges in my deck, so I'm ready to play a medium, search, and search into R&D. So I spend the turn drawing back up to my hand, and during this time he makes a very big play, which is the perfect play against my sort of Blackmail deck. Can you guess what it is? By seeing everything on the board so far, you might be able to guess what he's about to do. Install, advance, and take off all the counters of Efficiency Committee and double Sen so that he'll have 5 advancement tokens on that card, and then he'll score it. Guess what that agenda is? No prizes for guessing, it's a priority requisition. This allows him to res and ice without having me to run on that server. In other words, he can actually res ice. He can actually defend his server. So he gets to pick 1 ice, and he picks the one over HQ naturally. Turns out it's a Victor 2. So this doesn't keep me out. Keep in mind that it's a Bioroid, so I can actually still click through it. But if I'm doing it from the same old thing, it will consume my entire turn. If I'm doing it from my hand, it will take up 3 clicks. Either way, this means that I cannot do a double run on my turn anymore, which is important because I need to double run in order to accumulate multiple virus counters on Nerf Agent so that I can actually multi-access. So I think with this, HQ access is more or less out of the question now. Now what I need to do is to focus on R&D. He has a lot of cards, a lot of credits. Alright, so I install the medium. Although this turns out to be a bad move. This was my last stage effort. What I did was install a medium to mail from R&D and then access archives, which is always an option, especially when you know that there's no Jackson Howard on board. But in retrospect, this was not a good decision, because what I should have done was to wait until I had enough to perform a search on medium. Then I'll blackmail into R&D. Being able to access 4 cards from R&D through medium, search, and blackmail is much more efficient than mailing 1 card from R&D and then hitting archives. So that was a big mistake on my part, which is not a very good play. It's definitely a suboptimal play. So you will notice that he's now a match point, but apparently he's still short of a biotic label. Otherwise he would have won right now by biotic labeling out a 3-2. So what he does is he archive memories a biotic label, which tells me that he's ready to win. I have 1 turn to make magic happen. I have 1 turn to score the final agenda. He's playing all 2 and 3 pointers, so I need to find 1 more agenda. Otherwise, he will biotic label a 3-2 for the win from his hand. And his hand is closed off. I could try to blackmail his hand, but that's a very low value play. And this is where the problem comes in. I spend my first click to draw up with 12 contacts, and I don't see anything useful. This is the turning point. The best play for me right now is to use the same old thing to blackmail R&D, and then blackmail 1 more time with the blackmail in my hand. But I chose wrongly. He mind gamed me through the Octagon chat, telling me that, oh, I need a 3-2. I don't exactly have a 3-2 because you stole it from me. So I was lulled into a false sense of security, thinking that he had no means of winning this turn. So instead, what I did was to trash the Jackson Howard, wasting my clicks. I was not very comfortable with the idea of blowing both my remaining blackmails, the 1 same old thing and the blackmail in my hand. I wasn't comfortable with blowing them both on a R&D access, but I should have stuck to my sense of the board state right now. I should have stuck to the notion that that was my last turn to win. If I didn't win this turn, he would. And as you see, he's going to biotic label it out for the victory. Why did I run R&D? I don't know if I would have won if I did that, but I very well would. I had a very good shot of doing that. I would have accessed 4 cards from R&D. That was a very stupid play on my part that cost me the game. So, folks out there, don't get mind gamed by your opponent. You might think that it won't happen often, but yes, I got completely mind gamed. Jedi mind game this match, and oh man, because of that I almost didn't want to upload this video, but otherwise this video is a very good illustration of how my blackmail deck works and how effective it is against cerebral imaging, how effective it is against subliminal messaging, and the various techniques which you can use to obtain yourself a multi-access, even when the corp has the option to purge virus counters. Thanks for watching, and guess the mystery card deck building challenge is still on. Check the video description and have a go at guessing what's the missing card in my deck that I still haven't revealed to you in the course of my videos. Hint, it's a resource. Alright, see you.